And we're back, and I'm pleased to be joined by Bellator fighter Aaron Jeffery, newly ranked in the rankings that just came out yesterday. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. I was very pleased to see your fight open up the show on Friday. We get it here on YouTube in Canada, as I'm sure you're Canadian as well, so I'm sure you're
Yep.
aware.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, big win over Austin Vanderford, who just competed for the middleweight title. A bit of an upset, but I'm sure not in your mind. um, what do you like? What are your thoughts on that? Like, I mean, I saw your interview with John McCarthy, and you were very gracious. You know, Austin took the fight on short notice, didn't have to do that. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard to condense my thoughts into words right now, man. It's been a whirlwind of a couple weeks,
Yeah.
from like having the potential of this fight to getting it signed, to fight week to winning, and now like all the media and stuff. It's been crazy, man.
I don't know if you remember, but earlier in your career, Fight Game Media reviewed one of the shows you're on. One of my buddies, Justin Nipper. It was at SFT 23, and he was very impressed by your mullet, and he made a comment about it in his article, and then you retweeted it, and ever since then you've been a Fight Game Media favorite. So whenever you're fighting, we're watching. And
Was that the comment about the? Was it Trailer Park Trudeau? Was that you guys, or what was it?
let me just have a look. I got the article up
I, I,
here.
I recall it. I can't remember exactly what the line was though.
A trailer park version of PM Justin Trudeau. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's awesome. I don't watch Trailer Park Boys, so I didn't quite get it. But yeah, I do see the Trudeau resemblance a little bit.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. And yeah, good Canadian boy. And I mean, and it's funny because I gotta say, like, I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. You're one of the more underrated fighters in your division in the world, because I look at your record, and I mean, for a guy on the, that was on the regional scene up until just a little while ago, your record's very impressive, and it's even more impressive when you look at your losses. Like everybody you've lost to is in the UFC right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you very nearly were. I mean, you're 11-2, and you won on the Contender Series. And everybody that wins on the Contender Series gets a fight, and for whatever reason, you didn't.
No, I didn't win on the Contender Series.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. I messed that up. Yeah, right. You lost to Chow Brow. Yeah, and he's in UFC right now.
Yep.
But it was a decision. And from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, UFC was interested in bringing you back for this season of the Contender Series, but you got the offer from Bellator.
I don't know actually. I
Okay.
don't know if they wanted me back on Contender Series this year or not, but the Bellator offer was too good to turn down. So
Yeah. Well, and I mean, yeah, especially fighting Vanderford. I mean, you're right in the deep waters, and 2 fights in, you're ranked number 7. I got the rankings right up here. Or sorry, number 6. You took Austin's spot, number 7, and I'm looking at that name right above you, and he's a teammate of Austin Vanderford, Dalton Rosta.
Yep.
I don't know if I was a matchmaker, that's the fight I'd be making, but I know they asked you for a name, and I think you're probably, it must be hard in the cage, and they press you for a name, and you're just like, I just want to enjoy my win.
Yeah, exactly. I just fought 3 seconds ago. I don't want to think about the next one quite yet.
Yeah. Impressive KO though, man. Like vicious. I get the highlight here, and I mean, you just wouldn't let up, and I think Vanderford didn't know what hit him. And as I if you're familiar with Fight Game Media, we focus pretty heavily on pro wrestling, but we also cover MMA and boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin Vanderford obviously is, dabbled a little bit in pro wrestling. He was in AEW. Are you follow wrestling at all?
Not anymore. When I was younger, I did quite a bit, but no, I haven't in years.
Okay, yeah, it's not as popular as it once was. But I just you seem like the kind of guy that would probably do pretty well in that environment.
I was in Vegas for a while last year, and there was some like WWE scouting agents that were going to some of the gyms, and they came to the gym I was at, and they asked for me specifically and told me to come out to the tryouts. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I see, I see a little bit of Tom Lawler in you. And
Yeah,
like, that kind of thing. And he's done really well in pro wrestling since he left MMA.
yeah.
Obviously he's a little bit older than you. You're 29, like you're in your prime. And obviously, like you don't want to do anything else right now. I find that guys that have tried to do both tend to not do well at the fighting part of it. Because you go from trying to hurt somebody to trying not to hurt somebody, and it's a completely different skill set. But yeah, you came in with a bang, second straight win in Bellator, and I mean, obviously you didn't take any damage. So are any kind of, like, it looked like might have pulled you out of training. Are you you have any idea when you might fight again?
No, nothing yet. I told my management to just leave me alone for the week. I just want to relax this week, and then we'll start talking next week about what's next.
Yeah, Bellator doesn't run as active a schedule as UFC do. Like, it's not like they're in there every weekend. So you sh-
No, they're more like once a month, maybe twice a month.
yeah, it kind of ebbs and flows. So you should be able to pick the right time when you're ready, and and the next fights can be big, because I got to think, especially if you're fighting a guy in the that's ranked ahead of you. I mean, really, it's probably a title eliminator. And
Yeah,
for a guy that was fighting in CFFC earlier this year, like that's a pretty big step up.
yeah, man, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Now, I imagine you're going to get asked this a lot, and and given that you're under contract to Bellator, it's that's obviously the goal right now. But do you still, like, because you hear guys in Bellator talk about UFC a lot, and I'm not to say that would you want to go to UFC, because you're under contract to Bellator right now, and that's a good place to be. But are there guys in UFC that you look at, and you'd be like, yeah, I'd like to fight those guys?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, like between Bellator and UFC, it's the top guys in the world, right? So there's definitely
Right.
lots of guys that would be on my radar. But yeah, like you said, I'm in contract with Bellator. They've been very good to me so far. And I'm 29 years old. So I got to worry about like making money now, right? And
Absolutely.
kind of like providing for myself. So yeah, that's a big part of it at this point. It's not just like chasing the childhood dream of getting to the UFC. It's like making a life for myself.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, they like to do these Grand Prix tournaments, and I don't think they've done one at middleweight yet.
Yeah,
So that could be coming up, and that's $1 million, man.
yep, that'd be crazy.
That's life changing. And I mean, in you in Canada, I mean, that's like 1.5 million. I don't
Yep,
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
seriously,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
retirement money.
Where are you? Where are you right now?
I'm in Tilsonburg. I don't know if you know where that is. Where are you
No,
from?
I'm Winnipeg.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's Southern Ontario.
Okay.
Pretty close to London, like 40 minutes from London.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, definitely the southern part there.
Yep.
So and that's where you train.
No, I train near Niagara Falls in St.
Okay.
Catharines.
Okay, but you're training Canada. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So yeah, so I like to, when I get people on, and like, there's only so many questions I can ask about the fighting, but you're a good Canadian boy. What other sports do you follow? Oh,
Honestly, man,
sorry,
nothing.
my
I don't
dog's
even
in the way.
follow MMA as much as I could.
Really? So
Yeah,
just training,
just
and
training, man. I was never a big sports guy growing up. In university, I lived with a bunch of guys, so I would watch sports with them, and I enjoyed to watch it. But I'm never gonna like sit down and turn on any sports by myself, really, unless it's fighting.
so if you're watching fighting, it's basically you're scouting essentially, or do you just watch? Do you watch for
No,
enjoyment as
I
well?
watch it, but dude, I'm like a casual. Like the guys are grappling, and I'm like, come on, stand them up, ref. I want to see more
Yeah, yeah,
action.
y-
Um,
yeah.
I prioritize my sleep, so when the UFC events are on till like 1 in the morning, I
Oh God.
rarely stay up for the main event.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I, as part of, because I cover it, I watch the shows, but I can't watch them live. Like,
Yeah,
because, like, to sit there for 6 hours. So
dude,
that's
it's
where Fight
long.
Pass is nice. But my podcast partner Ryan, who I was hoping to have on this interview as well, but he was not able to be here. He covers everything live. So you see, if you watch UFC, you'll see his tweets on the screen. Mine are on there occasionally, but he's on there every week, and I just know how he does it. It's like a full-time job watching UFC
Seriously,
these
man,
days.
it really is.
And for you, like, I mean, that's you got to train, you've got to recover, And is this your full-time job now?
It
Now that
is.
you're with Bellator?
Yep.
Awesome. That's the dream, man. To go from, like fighting on the indies, on the regional, I call it indies with my pro wrestling background, but and you fought in all the big ones, LFA, CFFC, and now, the natural progression is to Bellator. But like I said, I mean, I can't believe like a guy with a 12-3 record is as under the radar as you are. And I think, I don't know, like Austin was maybe a bad decision to take a fight like with you, but
Yeah.
he did. And
Yeah. It was kind of high risk, low reward for him because if he
yeah.
beat me, he just beat an unranked guy that nobody knew, and he loses, and now everyone is kind of talking shit and saying he sucks because he just lost to a previously unranked guy. So I said it in some posts online, man. Like, hats off to him, respect to
Mhm.
him for taking the fight.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned you train in Canada. Have you given thought to having to possibly move your training to like a bigger camp to where you can work with better guys? And I'm going to say better, that's the wrong way to put it, but like learning different from different people, more experienced coaches and stuff like that. Is that anything you've thought
I,
about?
yeah, no, I've done a lot of that.
Okay.
I was in Vegas for 5 months last year, training at Syndicate,
Oh,
and then I've
Syndicate.
been in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was down in Florida at Sanford, which is now Killcliff MMA. I was down there for 2 months this year.
Okay. Yeah, Syndicate likes their Canadians.
Yep.
Yeah, quite a few there. John Wood, and that's the guy that runs that one, right?
Yep.
John
Yep.
Wood. Yeah. Tom's a friend of mine, the Lawler that I
Nice.
mentioned earlier. So yeah, and he used to train there as well.
Yeah, me and
So
him are buddies.
oh, are you? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. We trained a bunch and hung out a little bit down there.
He's killing it right now in Japan in pro
Nice.
wrestling.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
in Japan right now. Wow.
Yeah. It's a big tournament they have out there called the G1, where it's the most, like, if you ever wanted to watch pro wrestling now, I'd recommend watching that. It's the most like athletic version of pro wrestling that they have.
Mm-hmm.
They treat it like a real fight. They broadcast it like they're real fights. And Lawler is getting over pretty strong there with his style. In fact, they
Nice.
call it strong style. I not to, like I said, you don't even watch regular sports, so I don't know how much time you got for pro wrestling. But now I gotta ask you, Canadian, do you drink Tim's?
Not so much. The only order I will get from Tim's is the espresso.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Which
gotta.
is probably like a very not Canadian order because I'm sure not too many people drink that there.
Not from Tim's. I mean,
Yeah.
from Starbucks, I'd go if I want an espresso.
I don't like the Tim's coffee, man. I like the espresso. I like my coffee very strong, so I'll
Okay.
get the espresso from Tim's.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't get espresso from Tim's. I'd go to Starbucks for espresso.
Yeah.
But I but is that just like one a day? Then you'll get like just the one shot.
I usually get a double, but no, I don't. I make coffee at home usually.
Yeah, that's
Save money, man.
Cheaper way to go. Absolutely, yeah. Hey, it's not what you make; it's what you save, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I just I'm glad you're able to do this. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to ask you. I've already asked you about your next fight. So let's talk about this. Like, I'm looking again. I want to look at the rankings here, and I know I kind of mentioned this earlier, but again, I really think like this Dalton Rosta fight makes a lot of sense. He's 7-0, so he's not as experienced as you, but obviously a very top ranked prospect. Comes from the same camp. I would assume that they'd be interested in that fight because they'd maybe want a little bit of revenge. Is that a fight that interests you, or do you just not even want to talk about
it? Yeah, to be honest, I haven't watched much tape on him. I know he's tough. He's a good wrestler. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of up to Bellator, man. I don't know if because maybe they'll put me against someone that's ranked like lower than me.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they do that sometimes too. So yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to thank you again for doing this show on short notice. I'm sure you've had a lot of requests. I know you put the word out on social media. You want to get on the MMA Hour, and so maybe this is the first step to getting on there on Ariel's show. I'm
actually going on there today.
Oh, there you go. All right. So it worked. Your online campaign worked. Hopefully my little tweet of support helped you out. Do you got any plugs you want to get in other than being on that show?
Yeah, everyone should check that out. Today it's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Otherwise, thank you for having me on. Thanks to everyone at Bellator, management, sponsors, everyone. It doesn't take just one person to get to this point. There's a lot of people behind me.
Okay, and you're AAJ on Twitter, right?
AAJ MMA.
AAJ MMA on Twitter. You got any like Insta or anything else?
Same thing.
AAJ MMA. So at AAJ MMA.
AAJ. Yep.
So you're at 1376. Let's get that over 2000 with this and the aerial appearance. All right. So Aaron Jeffery, I want to thank you. You know you got
Thank you, man.
the media family in your corner every time you fight. Next time you fight, hopefully we can do this again, and I'll be talking to you next time. You'll be getting ready for a title shot.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you, man.
So for Aaron, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been In the Clinch.